I think study abroad is an incredibly important experience for students, regardless of major, just to widen perspective.
You learn so much in a study abroad course that goes beyond the classroom, more than you could ever learn in a classroom.
It's important to have some cultural competence. It's one thing to have some cultural awareness, right? It's one thing to be aware that cultures are different than the United States. It's another thing to go into a different country, to be able to take part in things that make up that culture. Have an experience like trying to talk to somebody in a different language that you're not used to. Being able to walk the streets and look somebody else in the eyes that's from a completely different part of the world than you are.
Study abroad is important for students to take because too much we're confined by the borders of our own, not necessarily country, state, but our towns and regions. So knowing and experiencing the world through how other people experience it, I think it's vital, not just culturally speaking, but from a professional standpoint.
Study abroad is important to me because that culture experience and the fact that I'm doing something not just for me personally, but for others.
I think a lot of times we live in bubbles and we work in bubbles and we kind of see like, you know, only our immediate surroundings, and we think, you know, this is what my life is and this is what's possible within this small bubble. But when you go and study abroad, you kind of see that the world is so much bigger than what you've experienced.
So for US students that want to study abroad and they have never done so because they don't think it's important or maybe they're afraid to do so, at the end you will be very surprised that you can learn some things also from other cultures, especially to have a more open mind into the world. I think the whole point of this is that we can learn from each other. I've seen many times the American students the last day, they're like crying and they don't want to leave, and they become very good friends with people from the community here, and they always say that they never thought that they would learn so much from a community outside of the US.
Do study abroad if you get the chance. There are so many people I've talked to who've said, oh, you know, I don't want to do it because it costs too much money. I was able to apply for scholarships and get almost the entire trip paid for. The majority of my classmates that are on this trip were able to get almost the entire trip paid for. Don't let money turn you away from an experience that you'll have for your entire life.